Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unified, a podcast feed from First Church Belmont Unitarian Universalist. We'll be sharing sermons and stories, especially thematic content made new every week. We're so glad you're here, and for more information about who we are and opportunities to grow and deepen, swing by the church on Sundays or check out our website at uubelmont.org. And for now, enjoy this new content.
This is especially good for you two because it's a story about siblings. Well, really all of you, I suppose. So there was once upon a time two porcupines who were pretty close in age, not too far away from you two and not too far away from your older brothers. And they enjoyed playing with each other most of the time. But often the younger one liked to mess with the older one in a way that the older one didn't particularly appreciate. And this kind of built up over the years, and it came to a breaking point this one day. See, the younger porcupine snuck up behind the older porcupine and tickled her with all of her might. And the thing is, when porcupines get tickled in this version of reality that only exists in the story, when porcupines get tickled too much and they laugh too hard, all of their spikes stick out. And they become this one huge ball of spikes, and the little sibling porcupine knew that if she could surprise her older sister and tickle her just right, she would all of a sudden spring, all of her quills would stick out, and then the hardest part, and the part that made the eldest porcupine sibling extra sad, was that the little one then rolled her down the hall where she had set up 4 big, sticky, old gumdrops. And she rolled with her spikes over the sticky gumdrops, and then she felt super gross because she had these sticky gumdrops all over her. And she was so mad, deeply, deeply mad at her sibling. And she went trudging off to find her grandmother, who they were hanging out with for that day. And she said, "Grandma!" And her grandmother saw that she was covered in sticky old gumdrops, and she basically knew the entire story without hearing it. But then she heard the entire story, and it was just the way that she thought, and she peeled off the gumdrops, and slowly the elder porcupine breathed a little more deeply, and the quills kind of eased down. And she said, "I'm never going to talk to my sister again." And the grandmother said, "Well, you could do that. You could stay here and live with me for the rest of your days, and we could send your little sister back to your parents. Or, one of the things that helped me a lot with my siblings is actually when something like that happened, you could talk about it. Would that be helpful if I helped you?" And so she said, "Yeah." And she called the little sibling back over and sort of through a lot of anger and rage and sadness and so many feelings, she told the little sibling porcupine how she was feeling about the situation. And said, "And I don't want to play with you anymore." And the little porcupine was really sad. And seeing all those big feelings that her elder porcupine sibling was having, she could see that what she had done had really gone over a line, and she felt really bad about it. And feeling bad about it, of course, was the first step. And then she told her sibling, she said, I'm really sorry. I get it, that what I did was not okay." And still the older sibling didn't want to play with her, and so she left. But the rest of that night, the little porcupine hatched an idea. And the next morning, she made her very favoritist breakfast, these very seedy muffins that only the elder porcupine sibling really liked, because basically they were gross, but for some reason she liked them, and she knew that she liked them. She made this, and she said, "Again, I'm sorry, so I made you this delicious thing that I know you love, but I have a extra special surprise." And the elder sibling was intrigued, and she said, "You can tickle me, and then I'll show you." And she said, "Okay." And so she tickled the little sibling, and sure enough, sprank, she popped out and all of her quills stuck out, and she waddled over to the hallway and opened the door, and she had set up all sorts of cotton balls all along the hallway. And she said, "We can roll in this," and then I set up an obstacle course outside. And the elder sibling said, "That sounds like a lot of fun. Hold on, you tickle me." And so the little sibling tickled the elder sibling, prank. And they were both just big piles of quills, and they rolled through the hallway, and they got themselves all padded up with all of the cotton balls, and then they waddled out into the backyard, and there was a little hillside, and she created this whole obstacle course, and they rolled down the hill, bouncing and giggling, and they had the best time. And we tell you that story, especially today, because up here, we're going to be talking a lot about making the space to make it right, knowing that sometimes we're going to fall, and sometimes we're going to fail, and sometimes we're going to cause harm, but that it's extra important what we do next, and finding ways to maintain and cultivate relationship even when we've made mistakes like that.